On the count of podcast.
Podcast!
Welcome to the Everyone's a Critic Movie Review Podcast 1993. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. With me is Amy.
Hello.
And MJ.
Hi.
And we're talking about the movies of 1993. Amy created a Facebook page.
I did.
I don't know what she does with it.
Oh, I haven't updated it today. Hang on. Hang on. I'll get to it here in just a second. I'm going to bring that up. Well, we have to because, especially after today...
Wait while Amy cranks up her dial-up.
Oh, do you hear that? That's the sound of sweet, sweet Sprint right there. Some little AOL duck. Hang on, I've got mail.
Do you need the disc?
I only run it off a disc. It's the Everyone's a Critic 1993 page over there at the Facebooks. You'll know it's us because it has a picture of Jürgen Prochnow as our profile shot, who, as you know, is our mascot, aside from Little Robbie.
Yeah.
Who is not with us again here. Go grab him. Go get him.
Little Robbie.
Get Little Robbie.
You should probably put a picture of the Robbie on the thing so people know what the hell you're talking about.
I should. Actually, yeah. I'm surprised I haven't done that yet. Grab my phone, too,
oh,
MJ.
My goodness. You're going to do it right now while we're recording?
Well, sure. I mean, we're going to be talking about a shitty movie first, so why not?
We're talking about Rookie of the Year again. And
I've got two Little Robbies.
Aw, Little Robbie. Come here, sweetheart. All right. Now, see, the thing is, Little Robbie hasn't been in any of our movies. And in fact, in 1993, he was in grade school. So,
yes.
Regardless, he's made of cardboard, and our Jürgen Prochnow cardboard cutout has not shown up yet. So, that's why Little Robbie's here. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
For that little tidbit of information.
This week in 1993, last week in 1993, was a movie called So I Married an Axe Murderer, starring Michael Myers and also starring Nancy Travis, Anthony LaPaglia, and the late, great Alan Arkin.
Oh, that was the only sweet spot in this movie for me.
It was the only good thing.
Yeah.
So I Married an Axe Murderer follows a guy named Charlie who has a hard time with commitment. He finds things wrong with women that may not actually be wrong with them, so he can avoid being in an actual relationship. Then he meets Nancy Travis, and he falls in love, and then it turns out that she's maybe a serial killer. Maybe she might be an axe murderer, as the title explains.
Chance.
But they get that so wrong.
What do you mean?
Well, because technically, if we're being honest, he didn't marry an axe murderer.
Technically.
No.
He married into the family of an axe murderer.
Now, see, that would have been better. So I married into the family of an axe murderer.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but, I mean...
So?
Spoiler
it's
alert.
Important to be...
I regret nothing. Holy shit, that picture of Gary Busey just popped up on our Facebook. I'm sorry. Has nothing to do with it, but I did enjoy that picture more than I enjoyed.
You know what's weird? There's that Nazi picture going around. Have you seen the Nazi picture going around of the Aryan family, where you can't tell which one's the mom?
No.
It's like four little blonde kids, and then their blonde dad. All of them are blonde. They're all staring ahead at the camera. I can't remember what the caption is, but it's very disturbing. And then you look at it and you can't tell, is the little girl to his right supposed to be his wife, or is that his sister? I don't know. But he's very proud that they're all very Aryan.
I hate this.
But imagine changing all those faces to Gary Busey, and it gets very funny.
Now I would prefer that, obviously. Well, anyway, so this movie. I've watched this movie several times. Every time I go into this movie with a sense of I really want to try and like this, because it seems like I should like it. It seems to have elements to it that should be good. And then immediately Mike Myers launches into shtick and I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's taking a good premise for a movie and then fucking ruining it with all this bullshit that he's got to do. He's got to do all this bullshit.
Well, Fuzzy, I think, said something that just cracked me up, and that was, if you look at Mike Myers' movie at a weird angle,
he looks like Jimmy Fallon.
Which I thought was very appropriate, because you want to punch both of them. They both mug the camera.
Yeah. They both, like, try and stick their face into the camera. Look at me, look at me. It's the most insecure actor on the planet is Mike Myers, because he can't... It's as if he's worried at any scene that if he isn't doing shtick, people will forget he's there. It's like, Mike, you're the star of the movie, dude.
Right.
You don't need to mug every second. You don't need to play multiple characters in every movie just to make sure that everybody knows you're fucking there.
See, that's why I think Wayne's World is a masterpiece. I love fucking Wayne's World. I love Wayne's World.
A very good director.
A very good director.
Holding him in place.
Cast.
That's why Wayne's World 2 struggles so much.
Yes.
Because he's free from that director and can just do whatever the fuck he wants, and it just kind of ruins everything.
That's so true. Well, and then I was pointing out, too, to MJ as we're watching this movie, because you weren't here yet, so we of course, the last minute, kind of quickly...
I'd already watched it.
You'd already watched it.
Because I'm prepared for the show.
He'd already written a review. Yeah, I mean, like, MJ and I were like, if we do that in the 11th hour, it'll be more exciting for us. So that's what we did. And then, I was trying to point out, I was talking about your review a bit, too, because I was just like, no, this is something that I'd noticed as well as you'd noticed. And I said, he's, by the way, he's playing his father in this movie as well.
Yeah, because that wasn't very obvious.
Well, and then tell Sean then what you were thinking. You're like, oh, you did not like that.
I'm not a big fan of when people do that. Like I don't even like when twins are played by the same person. Like that's.
It's weird to you.
Yeah, I like... there's only one thing that I like when one person is playing all the characters, and that is a TikTok channel, Call Me Chris.
Oh, I love Call Me Chris.
So funny. Absolutely so funny. So.
That and have you ever seen the Cafe Huddy ones? It's the guy who works at the restaurant, but he also plays like all the waitresses and the cooks in the back. Just brilliant. Yeah, really funny. That's funny, but it's not like, see, Mike Myers, the thing about Mike Myers is I feel like there's just, once after Wayne's World, there's just so much ego there.
Oh my god.
So much ego.
So much ego. But also like a depth of desperate insecurity as well.
Absolutely.
Like sweaty, desperate insecurity that people might not notice me.
Right.
The thing is that Mike Myers did this in like, he's done this in all of his movies where he's playing like multiple characters, but like it was Eddie Murphy who really popularized it.
Oh, the Nutty Professor?
The Clumps.
Oh, the Clumps.
The Nutty Professor 2, the Clump, where he plays not just himself, he plays his mother, he plays his uncle, he plays his brother, he plays a version of himself that gets like divided from his main character.
I hate that. The only time I liked Eddie Murphy doing that was in Coming to America, the first one. Him and Arsenio doing the old dudes. I love that, but like, it's too much.
It's too much. And thankfully, Jack Black seemed to bring an end to this. If you saw Tropic Thunder, did you see Tropic Thunder?
I did!
Tropic Thunder. The greatest parody of that, where he just does the family that just farts. He plays every character, and all the family does is just fart at every scene. And they're almost, I think they might be called the farts, I'm not sure. It just totally just blows up Eddie Murphy's spot, just completely.
Oh, that's brilliant. But see, Mike Myers did not get that memo because
this was before that, though.
Right?
I guess Mike Myers still does it. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Which, by the way, they mention in this movie.
Yeah, the Pentaverate.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it is. I don't care. Yeah. You don't seem excited about that.
Oh god, just fucking torture. That just sounds like fuck. So let's just get into the Pentaverate. Is like his big comeback thing that he did for Netflix. What was it, a year and a half ago? And he plays 9 characters in that shit.
No.
9.
Is this an episodic?
9.
I think it is. I don't know exactly what it is, because I refuse to fucking watch it. Because I just can't. I just can't with this guy.
Pentaverate.
He was in, he's in Inglourious Bastards, the Tarantino movie. And it's like just Mike Myers just like standing out against everything else. And thankfully that movie is like broad enough to carry it and not allow him to ruin it, but you can just see him just sticking his face in the fucking camera. But the worst one for me, the worst Mike Myers performance is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, when he...
Fucking garbage. Mike Myers is in Bohemian Rhapsody.
You were so pissed about this.
He plays this executive, right? It's the story of the band Queen. It was known for the song Bohemian Rhapsody. And he plays this music executive who goes, nobody will listen to that song with all that opera in it. It's never going to be a hit.
That's
but it's double fucking Mike Myers meta because of course he repopularized the song in Wayne's World.
Yep.
So it's like him referring to him fucking self. And also making a joke about how there's no way this actually happened with this executive. I doubt this ever fucking happened.
No. That was just to toss it in.
It's just to do it because we got Mike Myers here and he wants to do a Mike Myers reference in our movie that isn't about Mike fucking Myers, but I'll make it about Mike Myers.
I want to talk to the people that are just like, oh, you know who we should get for this movie? Let's go Mike Myers. Get him in on this.
The movie's bad enough.
Oh, dear God.
Poor Rami Malek just trapped in the middle of that trash, doing the best he can.
Jesus. Oh, no, I'm pissed because I looked up the Pentaveret.
Yeah.
And one of my idols, Jennifer Saunders, is in it. What the fuck? Come on.
He probably plays her character, too.
You know what, Jennifer? You can come to the set. I'm just going to play you.
I'm just going to play the character.
Oh, my God.
Why don't you do the lines for me, and then I'll just...
It's just a voice role, actually. I'll be playing the character.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
If that was right, if we're right about that...
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. So we're watching the movie. It starts out, and, there's little funny things here and there, just...
Are there?
Well, I mean, it's...
Anthony LaPaglia's outfit. That's the only funny thing going on there.
I love that when he's bringing up Huggy Bear.
He's dressed like a pimp.
But then, oh, shoot. Now it's like... What did we say in that first...
So he's a poet.
Yeah, he's a poet.
Oh, yeah.
He's a poet.
That was...
We were talking about this a minute
thing.
ago, before we watched the other movie we were going to talk about later. And I was asking you, MJ, like, is he a poet? And you pointed out, we never see where this guy lives. Is he homeless?
Right.
No, and I was just like, is he obviously doesn't live at his parents' house because he went there for dinner.
Right. And then we only see Nancy Travis's apartment after they get together.
Yeah. Like,
he drives a Porsche.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Does he live in the Porsche?
Well, it probably does.
He lives in San Francisco. What else can he afford outside of that?
On a poet's salary.
Oh my God! Well,
salary.
Back in the day, we used to love that woman. Whoa, man! Like we used to do that all the time. But again, we were teenagers. We were fucking stupid. But I think
tiresome. It's tiresome shtick.
It is. But I really thought that back then, those moments were really funny. And so is it just because we've grown to dislike Mike Myers, or is it just not a funny film where we just
I don't remember ever liking it. So.
I did. I know I did, but that was because...
I remember trying to pretend to like it, maybe. But I don't actually...
Well, and then we have one of my pet peeves about these films, especially the ones that we're going back and watching. Get a montage right. And again, with this one, we're not getting a good montage. There's a whole montage of them vibing together while they're cutting meats. And
this fucking scene.
And not only that, but if I hear "There She Goes" again one more time, they use that song 15 times in this movie. It drove me nuts. But so they're doing this montage in this meat shop. And by the way, I'm so grossed out by meat cutting and shit like that. Anyway.
But I'm just curious about this, MJ. Are you familiar with the concept of a butcher shop?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like a butcher shop is not something that we see a lot of anymore.
Not since The Butcher's Wife, right?
I'm serious. Like, how often do you see a butcher shop anymore?
Well,
like
you go downtown, or not downtown, but go up to Davenport. There's a meat market there.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll slice it for you.
I really just think of a deli section. Like, that's the only thing that I can... But... There's also the there was a line from Doctor Who, one of my favorite episodes. It's the last one of 9, or the last 2 of 9, and she's like, and this girl, she's taking care of all these kids, and she blackmails this guy by saying, "Hey, everyone thinks your missus is sneaking around with the butcher. It's you, though. You've been sneaking around with the butcher."
Ooh, it's a twist. I love that.
It was great. Oh,
that was great.
We love 9. But that was the... Okay, so here... But actually, MJ pointed this out, too, which I thought was funny, because I thought I was alone in realizing it. First, MJ was like, what is the pacing? Like, the pacing in this film feels off.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really went from, like, one thing to, like, whoa, okay, and then it was back to slow, and then it was jumped again. It was...
Well, and I think part of that was
awkward.
because... I'm pointing out, like, with the montage... I think that, too, with this montage is supposed to, like, get you right through it. Right through it. And there were several beats that we had way too many beats in between these gags. And the gags weren't even funny.
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
It was
So
very,
the setup,
like, spaced
he
out.
goes and he buys some haggis from her, and they have a little meet cute moment over him buying haggis, and then he leaves, and then he sees her again, and then he makes her the reason to come back, and she's super busy.
Yeah.
She's running this butcher shop by herself. She's got a line of people, and this motherfucker decides, because his dad owned a butcher shop once, that he can help out. And she just like, yeah, okay, complete stranger, why don't you help me out with my butcher shop? Sure.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to do a bunch of fucking shtick. And all I can think about while I'm watching this fucking scene is, if you're in the fucking butcher shop watching this fucking guy play with the fucking meat, I'm like, I gotta go, can I have my food? Can you just cut my fucking meat, please?
Right.
I got places to be. I know you're trying to fucking pick her up so you can fuck her, but I gotta get some fucking meat to go home.
But see, that's the problem with you and I, is that there's no longer, like, we are so jaded that there is no suspension of disbelief anymore. At all.
If it were better, I wouldn't mind. But this is bad.
It is bad.
Because he's just sitting there like, he's holding it up, and he's pretending like it's his hand, and he's running off a fucking customer, pretending he got his hand cut off. I'm like, hey man, I gotta sell that shit. Stop fucking playing with it like it's a fucking toy.
Right.
See, I just thought the whole thing was unsanitary. It was like, dude...
Well, yeah.
That was my biggest problem with it. Like, wait in a long line, whatever. Should a guy really be just
punching the meat
over the meat?
Yeah.
Like, really getting
bare hands
involved
all
in
over the
it?
fucking
Yeah,
meat.
he's massaging it. And
Ugh.
No.
It was so unnecessary.
It was unnecessary.
It's needless, it's overlong, and it's
wasn't
just
funny.
It's just an excuse for him to do stupid shtick.
That's right.
And I don't care that she's going along with it.
But here's the other thing, too. Like,
The script requires her to go along with it, Mike.
Right, but there are some of those things that he was doing that would have played better on SNL. Maybe like an SNL sketch, you know, he's doing something like massaging the meat and that kind of thing. But that's why it's called a sketch. You can't draw that out to an hour and 40-minute film.
Well, it doesn't. That's all he does is sketches, though. That's all he does. Every little thing in the movie is just him stopping the movie to do a fucking sketch. That's where your problem with the pacing comes in, MJ.
Yeah.
Because this guy is stopping the movie to do a sketch.
Yeah.
To do a bit.
And it's like that's not how a movie works.
No.
It's literally not.
See, but you know who else suffers from that same issue is fucking Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
They all come from that same school of thought where it's like we take one premise and very thinly, it's like, you know, it's the thinnest crust of a fucking pizza that it could just fall through at any time. And yet some of it can be carried off well.
Yeah.
But this was not one of those summers. No. At all.
No, not at all.
I liked the soundtrack. I mean, you hear Big Audio Dynamite in there, which I loved. Again, I don't want to hear the Laws ever again after this. And then we had some Soul Asylum, which I thought was awesome. But then we had fucking Spin Doctors, and I was just like, no. It was just such an overplayed song back then. But,
Two Princes.
Yeah, Two Princes. But, I mean, I liked the soundtrack. I liked the coffee house. Like, that reminded me of that kind of era,
I didn't.
you know? I dug that. But that's just me. And then I was telling MJ as well, it's like, you know, my friend David and I, we were really big into like, oh, let's go do some beat poetry somewhere. You know, and if you left, like you're 15, 16 years old and you leave the beat poetry place and you smell like cigarettes, it's like, yeah, we were just at the coffee shop.
Why didn't you should have gone into that as a profession. It apparently pays very well.
Oh, beat, yeah.
being a beat poet, you know, you can get yourself
a Porsche.
A place to live,
That's
a Porsche.
Yeah. I don't think I mean, if I'm honest, douchebags own Porsches, so I have no time for that shit.
So the premise of this movie is that he starts dating Nancy Travis after picking her up at her
Right.
butcher shop, and they begin to fall in love, And then he starts to, as he always does, he starts to find something wrong with her. And what happens to find wrong with her is that she won't talk about her past. She's got, some things that she just refuses to talk about. She has these weird dreams about someone named Ralph, who she says is a woman.
Right.
And Ralph apparently is a woman, apparently.
Yes.
At one point.
At one point, in a scene that is just fucking irritating as hell. First of all, what kind of stranger walks into a room with another stranger wearing just a towel?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, he just
so
wanted to show his
ridiculous.
ass. That was the whole... It's just Mike wanting to show his ass.
Well, and then that actress had to, put her hand on his ass.
She did that on her own. That was her move.
That felt weird.
I don't think he asked her to do that. She seemed to be very comfortable in this scenario.
Well, yeah, but you'd say that about anybody back then, but who knows if you're really comfortable. You want me to put my hand where? I'm sorry, Mike.
That seemed like an improv on her part, to me. Just my guess. I don't know.
But you're a man.
I hope.
So, fuck you. Go back to Kenland.
But that scene stops dead, so he can do that bit.
Yeah.
It stops dead, and that's what he does through the entire movie, is stopping the movie dead so he can do shtick. Like, everything that his dad does in the movie is just stopping the movie to do a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of that's fun, like the kid with the giant haircut, which he says is a giant head.
Oh my god.
Over and over again. I laughed the first time. It stopped being funny very, very quickly.
Back in the day, that was actually one of the funniest bits too. Was that whole? But he's got a really big head.
By the way, do you recognize his Shrek voice there?
Yeah, I said that immediately.
And he's like,
"Is that Shrek?"
That's
I
Shrek.
said, yep, that's Shrek. Where do you think this accent came from? It all started back here. Here's what pisses me off is the cast in this film.
Yeah.
We've got cameo from Charles Grodin, cameo from Phil Hartman, cameo from Debbie Mazur, cameo from Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
When they were up in the plane,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's brilliant. I love that. But how do we have all these awesome people in such a shit ass fucking film?
Yeah.
Because Mike Myers is the only one who's ruining it.
I mean, he really is.
Anthony LaPaglia is killing it
He's
in this
great.
movie.
He's absolutely
He is
great.
having a time here. I mean, when he's breaking character to laugh at Mike Myers, like, I can imagine that in the moment while that's happening, that was very funny.
Right.
I can imagine that. It's not very funny in execution
No.
on screen as edited together.
Right.
It's not great, but I can imagine he was having a fucking killer time on set.
Yeah.
Then he gets to have this great arc with Alan Arkin, where he wants Alan Arkin to be the traditional movie boss.
Where he's like yelling at him to get him.
And Arkin is like, I don't answer to that. I answer to a commission. I don't have a boss.
Yes, all the cop scenes were funny. Like, they really were.
Actually, and that was my thought. It's like, God, if you took Anthony LaPaglia and you took Alan Arkin and made a separate film about him trying to butch him up a little bit,
Anthony
Yeah,
LaPaglia is like,
man.
he's so dynamic. He can do anything.
true.
The guy is just an incredible actor who never gets enough credit. He's awesome in just about any role that he plays.
That's true. Well, so is Alan Arkin, in my opinion.
And
though,
I
too.
mean, he gets the scenes with Alan Arkin. He gets the best scene with Stephen Wright.
Yep,
where
you're right.
Stephen Wright is his pilot falling asleep in the middle of a storm.
And he
Fucking
hasn't
great.
driven at night before.
I've done this before. Not at night. I mean, but again, that's in the delivery of these amazing comedians.
Exactly.
It
and
has
Mike's
nothing
not
to do
there
with Mike
to
Myers.
ruin the scene.
Precisely.
He's
Or
not there to
steal it.
destroy it.
Try to steal it. Yeah,
because
exactly.
he would totally do that. He would try and fucking show him up.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, I got to be the funniest guy in the fucking scene.
That is so true.
So, stop being funny. That's why I can't be in the scenes with Alan Arkin or Stephen Wright, because they'll be funnier than me.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
Mike Myers. That's his whole thought process.
Well, so now I'm going to announce this right now on
Go
our
ahead.
Facebook page. I am going to write a fan fiction that is just Anthony LaPaglia and Alan Arkin's character. I'm going to make, just in honor of Alan Arkin, and then, obviously we can't make it a script, but still.
Fucking LaPaglia gets the funniest moment out of Brenda Fricker.
Where she kisses him? Holy shit. MJ's like, I'm really uncomfortable because, but you thought...
She went for that. He went for that.
True.
And Mike was just fuming. You could just see him fuming that he's not the center of that scene.
But MJ pointed out, it's like, okay, because MJ wasn't sure if
I thought that it was. I thought
they were brothers.
They were brothers. Yeah. So I was just like,
I'm like, no. That's his best friend.
Okay,
that's
not as bad. Not as bad. Still feels a little weird, but not as bad.
Nancy Travis is lovely. She's got a lovely face, but you know what Nancy Travis also is? Bland enough not to steal scenes from Mike Myers.
That's very true. Actually, in this movie, I'm kind of disappointed because she looked a little dead behind the eyes a few times for me.
Because how could you not be? When this guy's sitting there doing shtick and just riffing on everything, and you're just supposed to sit there and react, eventually you're going to get bored. Eventually, you're not going to have anything to give.
No.
Her performance is perfectly the result of all the bullshit that he's doing.
That's true. Well, thankfully, then you got somebody like Amanda Plummer who can just be fucking creepy as hell and play it off.
Yeah.
And there was no fighting in that because Amanda Plummer was going to steal that anyway. She just was and did a fantastic job.
She wasn't putting up with his shit.
Hell no.
She didn't put up with that shit for a moment.
No, that bitch is a pro, absolute pro. I don't know.
Talia gets by because he just tolerates it, like he thinks it's kind of funny in the moment.
Yeah.
And, I think he's just he's able to just stay in the moment because he's just that comfortable as an actor. I don't think Nancy Travis, she had to spend the most time with him, so I imagine she just got tired of that shit eventually.
Well, sure. Yeah. Wouldn't you?
I would, totally.
In these scenes where I'm sleeping, can I really just sleep? I don't have to say anything. Just let him say Ralph.
He's sitting there mugging and
right.
Yeah.
throwing his
Imagine
face
if
at the
he
screen.
starts saying Ralph.
Oh, you're right. Ralph. But that moment where like they were fighting and he like throws himself on her and like human blanket and I'm like, oh, bad touch. Like that was a trigger for me. I think there's some sort of trauma there that I have not discussed, but I did not like that.
I think the only reason that Hartman got to stand out in the scene with him is because he's Hartman. Like they worked together, they were friends. I think you just let Hartman be Hartman.
Well, you kind of have to because Phil's going to steamroll you anyway. And it's not because he wants to. He's just better than you.
It's
true.
Know?
That's just it.
It's true, because Hartman has elevated everything he's ever been in.
Everything.
And is capable of being both an actor and a sketch comedian.
And he was a great artist as well. I was telling MJ about how we lost him. Yeah. And that was terrible. Just so, it just sucks. Every time I see him on screen, I get so pissed off. I'm like, that man should still be here?
Every time I hear the voice of Lionel Hutz.
Oh, yeah. Oh... That makes me sad.
Lionel Hutz, one of the arguably the greatest Simpsons character.
Absolutely.
Arguably. Right there with him. Who's his actor character? I can't remember.
Is it Troy McClure?
Troy McClure, thank you. I'm embarrassed I couldn't remember.
I know,
Troy
you're
McClure.
The one you were obsessed with that
Troy
show.
McClure.
Yeah.
And every time Troy McClure is on The Simpsons, he has to introduce himself with 3 of his credits.
Yes. I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me as such roles as... Oh my god.
Andre the Giant, we hardly knew ye. Fucking hell. That was one of the funerals he appeared at, actually.
Oh, see, you know what? We should have just talked about Phil Hartman this whole thing. Yeah, just fuck this movie. Phil Hartman.
So much.
Oh, by the way, I did add Mike Myers to the cunt list.
Good, he belongs
he's
there.
He's on there. He's gonna stay on there.
It's such trash. It's just such trash because there's a good idea here.
There's a good idea here.
I think there's a good premise here. It's kind of like a combination of like a true crime romantic comedy.
Yep.
Which is a great idea in theory, but then you have Mike Myers doing his fucking shtick the entire time and ruining the movie.
You need somebody with less of an ego to do this, like the lead role in this. And there were plenty of 90s guys. Carrie Elwes would have done a great job with that. You know, I mean, just give somebody else that role.
Throw Mike Myers in The Crush. It gets us home. Like, if you could switch Carrie Elwes and Mike Myers, I would love to see him doing shtick in that scenario. That'd be great.
In The Crush. That's almost as good as Pauly Shore in Schindler's List. That's so good. Like, God, you know what? If people did listen to this podcast, we'd be canceled so fucking fast. I'm telling you.
Oh man.
Obviously, it's fucking hilarious. But I hated this movie. MJ hated this movie.
MJ, you really hated this.
It was very uncomfortable, and there was. No, just no.
Just no.
That's all I've got is no.
I really thought you'd have more to say, to be honest, because you were, like, throughout the movie, you're like, even when we had to pause it, MJ's like, so we have to finish this? It's like 45 minutes left. Really? And part of me was with you, like, let's just turn it off. We don't have to finish it, but no, we are completists. We got it done.
Yeah.
It doesn't make us feel any better. Now MJ's really tired and wants to take a nap.
I do want to take a nap, but I want to take a nap after most of these movies.
That's true.
Even if they're good, I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Then I still needed a nap after.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the second movie we watched, we all need a nap after that one because, man, that just keeps you going.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, but we need to get our final thoughts on...
Do we?
So I Have Married an Axe Murderer.
I thought we all just said Mike Myers is a cunt, and we all fucking hated this movie. Next. Little Robbie, what say you? I don't like it at all. That's my Irish accent for him, and he didn't like it either. You're welcome.
That was terrible.
No, it was my Lucky Charms voice. He loves that.
If
He loves when I do that.
If you weren't really Irish, that would be like...
I'm never going to meet him. It doesn't fucking matter.
We can do that. We're actually Irish. So.
We are Irish, but not as Irish.
My name is Sean Patrick.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm Sister Amy Catherine, so I don't know what you want. Come on. Yeah. We used to have an O in front of our name, too.
Oh, my God.
O'Kernan. O'Kernan. Anyway.
It was O'Kernan. Okay.
Yeah.
What, did that get stolen at Ellis Island?
Yeah. Just like a potato snatched from our hand, they remove the O. All right, we have to stop, otherwise I really will never meet him and he'll never talk to me again. So, yeah, final thoughts. Fuck you, Mike Myers. That's it. MJ?
Get better jokes, dude.
I don't think it's ego. I think it's insecurity. I think he's just deeply insecure. I think
he's more of that now, but I think it was ego back then. Wayne's World, you had one of the biggest fucking movies in the world. So you're going to do this movie, and obviously it's not going to hold up.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
There's a reason Dana hates him.
I didn't realize he did.
Dana Carvey?
Yeah.
They hated each other. They've hated each other for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they don't get along.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why there hasn't been a Wayne's World 3.
Which, thank you for that. Because we don't fucking need that.
Because all Mike Myers tries to do is upstage him. He tries desperately to overcome how funny Dana is.
You can't do that. Especially with the whole Foxy Lady scene in Wayne's World. You can't do that. Like, He's just brilliant.
He can't be on screen with Dana because Dana's funnier than him.
And
it hurts his feelings.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I can't believe that. Oh, widow feelings. Can we move on to the cool movie? Because we're over this shit now.
The other movie we watched this week is The Fugitive, starring
awesome.
Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones in the story of Richard Kimble, Dr. Richard Kimble.
Dr. Richard Kimble.
Who is accused of killing his wife, even convicted of killing his wife, but he says a one-armed man killed his wife.
I didn't kill my wife!
I don't care!
God, that's a great moment right there.
It is so good, right?
Such a great moment. He gets to say that a couple times, doesn't he? Or is that just us?
Well, he gets to twist. He gets to turn it.
He does. Yeah,
later
you're
on.
right. You're right.
I know. You did. Hang on. Let me turn off the smug.
Yeah, I really did want to say "fuck you, Tommy Lee Jones" in this movie so many times. You did too. You're just like, you didn't like him.
Sorry.
Tommy Lee Jones, the cop, the deputy.
Oh, deputy.
Deputy Gerard.
If you would have looked up from your fucking phone, you goddamn Gen Zer.
I wasn't even on my phone. I
looked over
like twice.
What, were you looking down sleeping at one point when I was looking over at you?
I might have been like...
Do you remember what this movie's
2 movies in a day is big.
It is. That's true. 2 movies in a row. Oh, yeah.
My attention span isn't great already.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I guess ADHD brain.
This is a person who's never not had the internet.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have it majorly.
No, and also you were one of those kids that didn't get a cell phone until much later than all your other buddies too.
Yeah, I was 12 when I got and that was my...
It was a flip phone.
Yeah, I was 12 when I got my flip phone. And my friends had iPhones, and I had a flip phone.
Look, you were still privileged.
When we were 12, we were still excited about the phone that wasn't connected to the wall.
That's so true. That's so true. I know we brought this up before, Fuzzy, but man, the choice in phones back then, there were so many. So many. Like
connected to the wall, not connected to the wall.
Right? Your dad had a pair of lips. It was the Rolling Stones mouth, like with the tongue that we stuck dog shit in.
That he still has.
Yeah. He really was going to kill us. He really was going to kill us. Anyway, moving on from phones.
Sounds like my dad.
Yeah. Well, we should have been killed.
The Fugitive.
The Fugitive. Oh, The Fugitive.
Based on a 1960s television series.
Which I didn't realize that until I looked it up on my phone as I was watching the movie.
You didn't know?
I didn't know that either.
No.
Yeah, it was originally a 1960s TV series. It lasted 2 seasons.
That's right, because I remember Mystery Science Theater referencing it, and they're like, Dr. Richard Kimble. Like, they would, like the opening of that. Like, that's... Because I kept coming in my head, and I'm like, was that a sketch that I'm remembering? No, it was a TV show.
It was a 1960s TV show.
Thanks, Mystery Science Theater. You always come in for me. I really didn't know. I really didn't know. So... 2 seasons? That doesn't sound like a success.
I mean, there's a weird story behind it where it just got canceled seemingly like out of the blue and people were kind of surprised.
Oh.
Because I don't think they'd even actually caught the one-armed man yet.
Oh. Wow.
There's a weird story to the cancellation of The Fugitive back in the 60s that I saw in a YouTube video. I don't remember it now, so I can't recount it.
This whole one-armed man thing.
Yeah.
I kept having a line that went through my head the entire time that kept saying, "It wasn't me, it was the one-armed man," and I don't remember where that line came from.
A Mystery Science Theater episode, probably.
No, it was like before that, but I'm just like, I wanted to keep saying it during this movie, you know, but I know Harrison Ford, Dr. Han Solo, would not have said that. He would not have said it like that.
Amy was so thirsty during this movie. It was ridiculous.
She was losing it.
I'm not even attracted to Harrison Ford, but he looked damn good in this movie. Damn good.
You didn't start out attracted to... Then how did that even... Okay.
You mourned the loss of his beard.
I did. I was sad. Except until later where they showed that backflash sex scene where he was kissing Seymour Ward.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, but there's food that gets stuck in there. Don't let her be sucking out a piece of toast. You're welcome.
As a person with facial hair, I must say that's not that big a problem.
Do you guys clean that a lot?
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, it's really weird.
If you're good, if you're not like homeless or something, like if you're not someone with no access to cleaning, yes,
homeless people.
You do clean your facial hair, yes.
I don't trust men, so I don't know if that's the truth. But I mean, then he dyes his hair dark at one point.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm just like, he was starting to look like Benedict Cumberbatch, who I do have a bit of a crush on, by the way. And I'm like, okay, I can get with this. Dr. Richard Kimble.
He does
I'd
a
like
shirtless
you to be my
scene,
doctor.
and Amy made us pause it for a moment.
That didn't happen. Because as anyone knows, I'm not an ogler because I barely can make eye contact with people. So I don't even look at myself in the mirror. So I mean, I'm not going to look at somebody else. But I'm telling you, no, he looked good. And then then he cuts his hair and it's like, oh, dude, you look better with longer hair. If men can tell women to smile, I can tell Harrison Ford to grow his hair out, right? It's only fair. No one made the cunt list from this movie.
No.
Thank God.
Surprisingly great, isn't it?
It really...
Because you had a bad attitude going into this.
Because every movie like this was... I swear to God, this was like our teenage years. Like, it was all just very bland and butch and beige. And if you look at the outfits in this film, I wasn't wrong. But the story and the way it was shot, every fucking actor in this movie, it was great. But
so I got to credit somebody for this because I'm going to tell you the story now behind The Fugitive, and I've got to credit the person who did this. They did this on Twitter today because we are actually recording this on the 30th anniversary of the release of The Fugitive.
Okay.
So it's actually this day, and so somebody
this
on
day
Twitter.
In Fugitive history.
This person on Twitter, All the Right Movies, ATR Right Movies podcast.
Oh, okay.
Did a long 34-piece thread on the history of The Fugitive, and I had no idea this was this fascinating. So, Harrison Ford didn't want to do this. He didn't want to make this movie. He wasn't interested, and then they told him he could have a beard. And he's like, yeah, if I can have a beard, I'll do it.
You know, I've been waiting to get paid to have a beard. Go ahead.
They came up with multiple different versions of the script. Like, just had a dozen different versions of the script for this movie.
Okay.
And then when they started filming, they still didn't have a final script. So director Andrew Davis decided that, well, why don't we just come up with something in the moment? And so much of what you heard dialogue-wise in this movie, they came up with in the moment. That interrogation scene with Harrison Ford and the two cops, he had no idea what they were going to ask him. None.
Whoa.
And was having to respond to that as Richard Kimble would, trying to think of the information that Richard Kimble would have in that moment.
So when I say, I didn't kill my wife, and you say, I don't care...
Tommy Lee Jones came up with that in the moment.
I don't care.
All that stuff, those famous lines, Tommy Lee Jones is just riffing.
That cannot be true.
Newman, what are you doing over there? Thinking. Well, think me up a donut with sprinkles and some coffee. Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
All that banter between him and his fellow cops.
Yeah.
They're coming up with that on themselves.
Oh my God.
Joey Pantoliano wasn't supposed to have this big a role in the movie, but he kept riffing. He kept putting himself into the scene.
You can't put Joey Pants in a film and not have him have a bigger role.
He kept getting himself. He would put himself next to Tommy Lee Jones to make sure he was in a scene.
Oh my God!
Yes.
To the point where, the end, when he gets hit in the face with this giant girder.
Right.
That was supposed to be his death scene.
But he lived.
He lived because he laid on the ground and was going, oh.
Oh my God.
And Harrison Ford says, what are you doing? You're supposed to be dead. He's like, I want to be in the sequel. And he's like, there's not going to be a sequel.
Oh, they're not gonna...
Like, they all thought, because everybody thought, Harrison Ford thought, and Tommy Lee Jones as well, thought, this is shit. We're fucking this up so bad.
Wow.
This isn't going to be any good.
Damn.
Okay, how did it turn out good then?
Literally.
Because they're that talented.
I mean, it's strictly the integrity of the actors at this point.
Strictly the integrity of the actors and Andrew Davis making some clever choices with his set pieces.
And amazing editing.
Yeah,
in
terrific
the end.
editing,
Wow.
terrific action. That train sequence is incredible.
Loved that. Wow, I can't believe that. Hey, since you're giving out facts, you also mentioned something about Julianne Moore in this movie.
Julianne Moore is in this movie,
yes.
And the thing about it is that when Julianne Moore was cast in this movie, she was supposed to be Richard Kimble's love interest.
I wondered. Okay.
Yeah, she was initially cast to be Richard Kimble's love interest, and then as they were recutting the movie, they're like, we don't really have room for that.
No!
And it really doesn't make sense. This guy's really mourning his wife, and... So it doesn't really make sense to actually give him a love interest.
I think that would have pissed me off, too,
Yeah.
actually. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's just extraneous at this point.
So all those flashbacks that we saw early on in the movies,
Yeah.
all of that was supposed to be in the movie, and it was in the initial cut of the movie. We saw everything, the whole attack.
Right.
Celia Ward's part was much bigger, and that was turned into a flashback to try and cut it from 3 hours to 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Huh. I can't... Wow.
So they turned that all into a flashback just to get it down to 2 hours in the edit.
I was gonna say, and then you have like Julianne Moore up in the front credits there.
Yeah.
But that part is very small.
Very small.
Like literally maybe 2 minutes on screen. That's insane. What I like about this movie, and again, this has been done in other films, obviously, but it's what Richard does along the way. It's like helping that little boy in the hospital, you know, when he's hiding in plain sight, basically. And then he notices that this little kid, there's something really wrong, and the other doctors are just fucking off and getting it wrong.
Well, no, because they're very busy.
They're very
it's a busy
busy.
Chicago ER, and they're trying to save as many people as they can.
But Richard's talking under his breath, like, you know, look at the film.
Look at the film.
Check the film.
Where's the film?
And then he finally gets this opportunity to and he gets him right straight on down to OR. Like
he was hiding out at the hospital pretending to be a janitor.
Right.
What was his name as a janitor?
Oh, Desmondo.
Desmondo.
Janitor's Desmondo.
Yeah.
Desmondo.
Kind of a little bit weird in that he's the whitest man.
Not really pulling off the look of a Desmondo.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You said something about the name Desmondo.
Oh, well, there's Desmondo, and then you even said, you're like, well, he doesn't look like a Desmond either. I'm like, no, because he doesn't have that hair that only a Desmond would have. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
There's got to be a character on What We Do in the Shadows that's named Desmond that has that haircut.
You know what? There's probably
he's probably in
what?
Something the devious. He's in his group. What's his first name?
Simon the Devious.
Simon the Devious.
Yeah.
He's probably in Simon the Devious.
He's probably got a Desmond.
Yep, he definitely would. He definitely
would. A foppish Desmond.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's funny.
But what is Harrison Ford pulling off? Either Desmond or Desmondo? Neither.
No.
He's not a Desmond or a Desmondo.
Nope. Couldn't hold a candle to any of our friends that are Desmondos or Desmonds at this point. I don't know. Like, not even he couldn't be like a Des either.
Throughout, that's great screenwriting to make sure that, first of all, we're supposed to be sympathizing with Richard Kimble, and one of the first things that he does is rescue that cop on the bus. This cop gets stabbed during the escape. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to escape. He didn't want to. He wasn't. He was going to, but he didn't want to.
No.
This guy gets stabbed, and the bus crashes. It's on the train tracks, and Richard picks up this guy on his back, and the guy's partner runs off. Richard Riley, famed character actor.
Yeah.
Great in this movie, by the way. Tremendous. He runs off. Harrison Ford, Kimble saves him. Yep. And it's that save the cat principle of good screenwriting that says, you need to show your main character doing good acts so people can sympathize with them.
That's what I was saying about, and that goes on throughout this film. That's exactly what happens. And
saves the kid. He tries to his life. When Janitor gets shot on the train.
Janitor.
Janitor
so
from
good
Scrubs.
To see Janitor there.
Neil Flynn. Wonderful. Good to see him in a good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
After being in Rookie of the Year.
Neil, you deserve this film.
Absolutely. Great reference on Scrubs to this movie. That was a wonderful episode.
I totally forgot about that until you mentioned that.
But yeah, he runs over and sees if he can save him after he's been shot. He goes to check his pulse and see if he can save his life, and he can't. He's already dead, but... Yeah. He goes on to save. He tries to save multiple people during the movie because he's a good character and he's a good person in the end, and he's in this very difficult situation that he's been put in.
So can we also bring up here that our actual bad guy that we don't think is a bad guy throughout the film should have been played by Jürgen Prochnow. Yes, we all agree.
Yes. Yeah. Great story. Again, credit to the guy on Twitter I just mentioned, All the Right Movies. Mm-hmm. He says that this actor, last name is Crab, he arrived 3 days into shooting. The original actor that they cast for this role died. Just as they were started filming. He died just as they started filming the movie, and so they called this guy to come in and play the role. He arrived on set 3 days after they started shooting, and had no idea what the script was. Really, he just took the job just to take the job.
Oh my god! Wow.
And he's like, "Well, is there a script?" And Harrison Ford just puts an arm around him. "Don't worry, I got you, buddy."
Jeroen Crab.
Yeah.
Crabby. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It makes me like the movie more, actually.
Right? Doesn't it?
It really does.
It's a really great story that they managed to make a good movie out of the situation that they were in.
I'm kind of bummed, though, in that, it's, again, we watch two Illinois films back to back here that take place. Yeah, Fiends. Well, I mean, not even actually, because one was shot in Illinois, but it was supposed to be San Francisco, and then they shot something in San Francisco. But anyway, this was supposed to be Chicago.
Right.
And they filmed it in North Carolina.
Oh.
Which, of course, with those train
sequences,
yeah, you'd have to have those.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of the outside stuff was actually in the Chicago freight tunnels.
Yeah, like the actual Irish parade, which was actually the actual Irish parade as it was happening.
Yeah,
they filmed in the middle of that,
and it was so creepy.
It was great.
Oh my god!
I mean, what a great piece of improvisation.
I love. Well, the minute that Harrison puts the hat on out of the garbage can, that really upset all of us. I mean, there's lice, guys. There's body lice everywhere. Don't put somebody's hat on.
First of all, you're wearing someone else's hat. Second of all, you pulled it out of the trash.
Out of the trash.
That's triggering all sorts of things for me.
Well, okay.
I get it. I get why you did it.
That's the thing about all three of us when we watch these movies. We all have our little issues with, like, I can't stand
mental health problems.
Yes, well, we do. I can't stand when characters are fully clothed and they get wet.
Oh, he's so wet in this movie.
So much moisture.
Yeah.
But at least
he's wearing this giant wool sweater too
God,
when he goes into the water.
Like the minute you
I'd
said
forgotten, like the scene, the most famous scene in the movie, the I didn't kill my wife, I don't care scene.
Yeah.
I thought that happened much later in the film.
Too.
It happened so early on in this movie.
Right.
And he's wearing this giant wool sweater that he's stolen from somewhere. And he dives into the water wearing that, and then he gets out, and that thing had to weigh like 300 pounds.
You said that in the middle of the movie. You go, oh man, that sweater must be like 600 pounds, and that triggered me even more because I'm like, I could feel it on my body.
But the thing that really got me was when I pointed out wet socks.
Oh. It's almost as bad as when people leave the goddamn refrigerator door open or the front door open in films.
You were so mad when Tommy Lee Jones requested that donut and then you didn't see him eat the donut.
No, the donut didn't come back.
No, it did not appear. It was not even credited in the film. I mean, where the fuck did the donut go?
The donut was not a paid actor.
No.
He consumed it.
I hate it. I don't know if he consumed it.
No.
And not only that, but he told Newman to think it up.
Yeah.
So was that just was it just like him saying, "Hey, I wish I had a donut," or that was that's the other question, and maybe it's just because I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe if I did my research for once, I might know these things. Do U.S. Marshals really have this much power?
Yeah, probably. I imagine because they're federal. They're federal agents.
Well, I mean, I guess I've only ever seen like a U.S. Marshal like in Bridesmaids.
What about the U.S. Marshal and U.S. Marshals?
I didn't care about that.
Which is the actual sequel to this movie.
What? They made a whole movie about Tommy Lee Jones?
I mean, it's kind of about Tommy Lee Jones. He's back. Wesley Snipes is the fugitive in U.S. Marshals. And I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly what it was that his character did, but he escapes, and Tommy Lee Jones is going after him with his new team. Same team, actually. He's got the same guys. Joey Pants and Daniel Roebuck.
Oh my gosh.
And Robert Downey Jr. is on the team.
Oh. What year did that come out?
Oh, gosh. It was in the early 2000s. Some point.
I'm going to have to look this shit up now.
Yeah. Marshall Gerard had led the movie, and it was called U.S. Marshals, and, just Wesley Snipes is the fugitive on the run, and they're chasing him down, and of course he's not really guilty, and, yeah.
I don't have to watch it, though, do I?
Not till it comes out.
Oh, okay. 1998.
1990? Really, that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Downey wasn't let long out of prison, then?
No. No. Well, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. Jesus Christ.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I mean, he's Tony Stark, you know? Yeah, that's
He's
fucking
such a
weird.
big star now, and then you see him in a role like that.
In a role like that? Well, yeah, even like, The Pickup Artist or something like that. It's like you're used to those kinds of movies with him, but then there's no way he'd ever go back there, you know? Or like one of my favorites, which is, what's the one with Mark Ruffalo? The serial killer one.
Oh, Seven.
Oh, no.
No. Zodiac, sorry.
Zodiac.
Same director.
Zodiac. Fucking brilliant movie.
Zodiac's great movie.
Yeah. Anyway, it has nothing to do with U.S. Marshals. I just didn't realize that U.S. Marshals had that much authority.
You didn't realize that they made a sequel to The Fugitive, which is... We had some great ideas actually for a Fugitive sequel with Harrison Ford. Where they kill his other wife.
Yeah, and then, but he's killed by a man who has an amputated leg this time.
Yeah,
yes.
Not his arm. I mean, and honestly,
because we're innovative.
You could make that a whole franchise because it could be a differently.
His third wife.
Yeah.
The guy's got no eye, left eye. He's missing his left eye.
That's more plot of Arrow, though.
Yeah. And Umbrella Academy first season.
Oh,
yeah.
Then the killer is he's deaf.
Oh, yeah. He can't hear.
Oh, yes.
I'm searching for the deaf man.
Now that I've watched.
It's like, why are all these people going after
us?
Richard, this is your fourth wife that's been killed.
Yeah, we're kind of wondering if you are doing this.
I didn't kill my wife.
Oh my god.
I still don't care.
And that's the thing about Tommy Lee's character in this movie is that you can sense he does not, in fact, care.
He does
no.
The smug is turned up to 300.
Oh my god. Jesus. And then you're finally, we get towards the end of the film, and he
turns all sweet.
He's soft.
He's
towards
soft
the
and
end. Yeah.
I know.
I didn't kill my wife. I know.
He's fucking Han Solo.
He was gonna steal that moment one way or another. God. Oh man. I tell you.
Is this the best movie we've seen this year?
No. I still think Loaded Weapon's up there. Yeah. And then what was our other one that we loved? Why do we keep forgetting this?
I don't know.
You can't even remember the movies we watched.
Well, I can't either, for the life of me. I forgot The Crush for a brief second, and then I was like, oh, okay. Well, it came back.
Men in Tights.
Men in Tights.
Up there too.
Men in Tights was a good
one. But as far as movies
like
this, The Firm was good. I think Fugitive is better. I like that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fugitive kept me more, involved.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but I think this is in top 5 for us.
Top 5?
Yeah, easily. Yep.
That's fair.
That is fair.
That's reasonable.
They call me Amy Fair Kernan.
Amy the Fair.
Amy the Fair. Yeah, not to be confused with Amy the Carnival Kernan.
So better than Boiling Point.
Wait, remember that time no one remembered Boiling Point? We were all we had some sort of spell on us. I know you don't.
I still can't remember. I remember the first scene of it, and then the first somebody did something to somebody, and for some reason we cared about it, and then it's all black.
No, because you and I remember sitting on the couch next to you. That's where it ends.
Yep.
And then at one point it was over, and I think we ate. We had some food. I think we had some food.
MJ didn't get to see The Crying Game, but The Crying Game is up there.
Oh, you're right.
Really
absolutely. Crying Game is definitely
obviously
up
Untamed
there.
Heart.
Oh my god, Untamed Heart, bro.
No.
Indecent Proposal.
Oh god. Sliver.
Betty and June was good.
I love Benny and June.
Not as good as this.
No.
Dave,
we love Dave.
Dave was good.
Is Dave the best?
I think Dave would be probably up there as one of the best. Yeah.
Not Sliver.
Not Sliver.
No.
Not Jurassic Park, shockingly enough.
Fuck Jurassic Park. Sorry, Jeff Goldblum. No.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Oh, I love it so much.
Sleepless in Seattle was a good one.
Yeah, that was we're talking top 10, I guess here.
Yeah.
We'd have to. But number 1 though, I still would. I mean, who do we think is number 1? What's our favorite? Would it be Dave? Would Dave be our favorite?
I feel like Dave is my favorite.
Yeah. I put Dave and then Loaded Weapon, and then.
But there is one more contender.
What?
Children of the Corn 2: The Final Sacrifice. That is the funniest movie of 1993.
I mean, it is. It's no Mel Brooks, but it's up there. Children of the Corn.
That movie was hysterical.
If I could remember any of their names, they'd all be on the cunt list right now. Fuck that movie.
It's so funny though. That movie is hilarious. It never intends to be for a moment, but it is fucking genius.
No, that's true.
You can't sincerely make a bad movie that well. You know what I mean? It's so poignantly terrible.
You have to be good at being bad. You know, make it your business to suck at everything.
It's so poignantly terrible.
That's true. That's true.
You know, of course, the great missed opportunity of seeing Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Aww.
I think that would be up there.
Rest in peace, Bernie. We did want to watch that one.
All right, so I am going to give you options for the next episode, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
You have two options.
Okay.
The Secret Garden, or Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday.
Oh, Jesus, I hate both of those ideas. And I've not even seen either one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I hate scary movies. So...
Oh, come on. How scary is that honestly going to be?
Well, how scary is Secret Garden? It sounds like it's going to be very, very flowy. Lots of flowers. And murder.
I don't know. I feel like it's either about fairies or, gross.
Or unkempt bushes.
Yeah, yeah.
My Secret Garden. Could be XXX. We don't know. This is why I'm not invited to parties anymore. Because I'm a horrible person. I hate watching people die, but if that's what it has to be, I mean...
Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday?
Yeah, I guess. But he doesn't stay in hell, does he?
He never does.
You know he doesn't
He
stay
goes
in
to hell at the end of every one of them, and he never stays.
I'm going to watch Secret Garden anyway. And I'll report back to you guys. Amy watched Secret Garden, you guys watch the scary one.
That one's on Max, so we'll
is
be
that
good for
Secret
that.
Garden is? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
Jason Goes to
I don't give a fuck about Jason
Let's
Goes
just
to
watch
Hell.
it right now.
Do another one, dude.
Yeah. Look, I'm spent. I don't know about you, but I'm spent.
If we wait 2 weeks and we do 2 at a time, then we'll have also joining this movie would be it would be Jason Goes to Hell and either Hard Target or Surf Ninjas.
What? Well, first, let me look at Hard Target.
That's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Nope, we're watching the other one. Surf Ninjas it is.
No! God, no!
Oh, this looks
no.
great. This looks great.
Oh my god.
We've got the horrible Rob Schneider.
Oh, no!
We can put him on the cunt list right now. Which is great.
God.
Oh,
my god.
oh.
That looks
The torture.
terrifying.
It's gonna be amazing, you guys.
Oh my God.
I'm already. I'm calling it.
Whoa.
I'm calling it.
11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No! Oh my God. Why?
Yes.
Oh.
Somebody give me a hug, because we're all gonna need one.
Oh God.
Leslie Nielsen's in it too.
Oh man. Jesus Christ. What a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did we decide to do this show?
Mainly because of me. Because I have no friends. And I get lonely on Sundays.
This is the only interaction Amy gets all week.
That's actually very true.
Other than hugging the little Robbie.
Oh, little Robbie.
Little Robbie is always here.
He's always here for me.
Always there.
I'm so lonely. Anyway, we gotta go.